Good afternoon. Welcome to this live session where we will be discussing about what to consider when applying to the University of Oulu. My name is Niranjan and I will be your host today for this session. And joining us here is Osmo Kauppila and Kaisu Jansson, who will shed light on the application process at the University of Oulu. So during the live session, there's a live chat that is active, and of course, if you have any doubts throughout, just post a question to the chat. There are some chat representatives who would relay the question to us at the end of the session. So to kick things off, right, Osmo, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. So my name is Osmo Kauppila, and I'm the degree program director for the international program Product and Project Management. We are located at the research unit of Industrial Engineering and Management. I am from now on in this discussion in the Faculty of Technology here at the University of Oulu.
And Kaisu?
Yes, so my name is Kaisu and I am a doctoral researcher at the Oulu University Business School. And my role sort of in this discussion is to represent our international master's program in international business management. And then I'm also a little bit involved in our new bachelor's program in international business management. So we have these different international master's programs and then one international bachelor's programs. And yeah, that's about it.
Glad to have you here, of course, and let's just dive into the topic of discussion already. So firstly, I would like to ask, when you're looking for students, what kind of students are you looking for at the University of Oulu? So Kaisu, would you like to shed some light on that?
Yeah, sure. So maybe like from the business school's perspective, I think curiosity is one thing that is super important, and openness to learning new things. And then maybe generally in Finland, in universities, the students have a lot of academic freedom, but with that comes responsibility also. So this kind of an independent approach towards your own studies is maybe important here. And then maybe thinking from my own major, international business management, I think social skills are something that is quite important, but that is also something that you learn along the way during the studies. And then maybe considering international students coming into a foreign country, I do think that it takes some courage and also ability to take initiative to settling into a new country. So that kind of things come to mind.
Yep. Osmo, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I guess that was fairly comprehensive, but maybe like in general, bright, motivated students, and of course you need to have some sort of an interest or preferably even some sort of a passion in this subject you are applying for. That's a driver for your motivation in general.
I agree. It's good mentioning that many of the students are moving a country, and they need the courage to do that too.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. But again, now when we are talking about the students, right, the applicants, is there anything that stands out to you when you look for applicants? Something that comes to your notice and you're like, wow, something like that.
Well, from my program, Product and Project Management, well, basically it's in our selection criteria what we are looking for. So we are looking for academic success in basically GPA and your previous studies in our field, IEM, Industrial Engineering Management, because you are going to study master's courses, so we want you to have the prerequisites to learn this master level and study these master level courses. We are giving some bonus on previous IEM work experience when looking at applicants. And finally, the last but not least important part is a motivation letter. Why are you interested in studying just in our program here at the University of Oulu? And looking at from the other side, what would makes you a really excellent candidate for our program? What makes you a good fit?
Okay.
So these sorts of things.
So is it a grading system? Basically, there are multiple criteria, and you grade them based on that.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think everything, including work experience, your previous degree program.
Yes.
So in the sense, imagine if a student, like not everybody applying to the master's program might have work experience. especially in the field of study. So would that affect their program, like their application? Can they, make their application stronger by having better skills in some other criteria but not having any work experience?
Yes, for our program, how this selection works is that the maximum total number of points is 10 points.
Okay.
And 5 of them, 0 to 5, is your GPA scaled to a scale from 0 to 5. So that's GPA, 5 points out of 10. Then 2 points maximum is your previous studies in the IEM, that is our field of study. 0 to 2 points from your motivation letter. And 0 to 1 points from your work experience. So if you are miss like 1 point or 1.5 point in total here or there, you're still a strong candidate. So you don't have to be the perfect candidate.
So it's not about having the perfect score. It's like
having a pretty good score. Pretty good score, I would say.
So even if somebody is missing something out, it's fine. They can still have a strong application.
Yes.
Okay. And what about in the business faculty, Kaisu?
Well, it depends a bit on the program that you're applying to. So if I'm speaking on behalf of our of the bachelor's program in international business management, so there the application process is quite straightforward. So we do academic evaluation based on the applicant's SAT test results, and within that test there are certain things that are looked at, and a certain minimum score that you have to get from the SAT to be eligible as a new student, and in that process there's no motivation letter or interview, or it is just that SAT evaluation. But then on the master's level we have a 2-stage evaluation. So in the first stage we look at the applicant's previous studies and how they have performed, so GPA and the relevance of the field of studies, and then motivation letter as well. So that is the first stage, and then the second stage is the interview. But basically in the first stage, in the motivation letter, the previous studies and the motivation letter are it depends on year how many points you can get from each, so it's all available on the system. But in the motivation letter we usually ask the applicants to tell about their motivations regarding this specific program that they are applying to, their future plans, what they want to do with the degree or after the degree, how they would use that knowledge that they get here. Then their previous experiences, any skills that they want to mention, and also what kind of a contribution they feel that they could give to the program and our community here. So yeah, basically those kind of things. So it always varies by the program a bit.
So when you mentioned about the bachelor's degree program, so is it only the SATs that they have to consider? Is there any language test involved or anything else?
Basically, the language knowledge is shown through the SAT test. Okay. So in the SAT, I think it's like reading and writing, and then maths that are those scores are looked at. So yeah.
But of course, for applicants, there's a basic level. For instance, for master's program, you need a certain level of from your language text to be an eligible candidate. So you can find those on the applicant websites.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing about that. So now that we talked about what you look for and what stands out, have you noticed anything that usually applicants overlook when they're applying to the University of Oulu? Is there anything that...
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that sometimes the motivation letters can be quite general, on a very general level. So I understand that when people are applying to multiple universities in Finland and in other countries, some of them tend to make just one motivation letter probably and send it out to every institution, and that's a no-no considering the evaluation. So I would say that always tailor the motivation letter to the specific institution and the specific program that you're applying to. That is maybe something that is quite common, and
yeah. Osmo?
Yeah, that would definitely be the first thing. I would also say that we go look at the program you are applying to, look at the instructions and follow those instructions.
Okay.
For instance, for the motivation letter, we are giving a very clear spec. So it's maximum 1 page, maximum half a page on why are you interested in our program here at the University of Oulu, and maximum of half page on what makes you an excellent candidate.
Okay.
And so we are going to score based on that. And if you have like a story of how you became enamored with engineering when you saw a train pass as a child, it's not going to score you any plus points, at least I can guarantee. So follow the instructions.
Yeah. Even for the motivation letter, there are specific specs that you have laid out.
It depends on the program. Always check.
Always check and read.
Always tailor.
So it's good to go through that once before you actually do the stuff.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And well, generally following the instructions means also following the deadlines and following the process as intended.
Yeah.
Because if your application is missing some documents, for instance, we are not going to score it, no matter how great your academic performance has been or how great your motivation letter is. If you are missing documents that are requested, you're not going to get picked.
Yeah, that's very important, of course, to remember. Yeah. So that's about the application process in itself. And now I would like to look at another aspect of it. So in your respective faculties, do you conduct interviews with the applicants at some point?
In our program, we currently do not do interviews. In some programs in our faculty we do, but I think Kaisu is more familiar with the current state of interviews.
Okay.
Yeah, for us, like I said, in the international bachelor's programs, we don't have the interview. But then going into the master's programs, there's this two-stage evaluation process, and the second stage is an interview. So yeah, there we do that.
Okay. So when talking about these interviews, what kind of interviews are these? What do you ask for in the interview?
Well, basically for the program that I'm involved in international business management, we have these quite short discussions with the applicants regarding their motivations, about the program that they are applying to. Then we discuss a bit about trying to assess their sort of field-specific knowledge. But this is more in a sense of what kind of issues and themes they are interested in within international business management, and not so whether they know a certain topic or theme, but what they are interested in and their future goals. And then we also sort of assess their communication skills. But this is I would highlight that in a very sort of relaxed atmosphere, and we try to sort of keep it very discussive with the applicant. And also, the interview is a way for the applicant to ask questions from us, from the faculty, anything they want to know about living in Oulu or the university or the program. So it's a two-way kind of interaction, I would say.
So it is a very relaxed environment where it's not just you asking questions and just.
We try to, of course, we have time limits and there's certain questions that we need to ask, but we also try to make it as sort of comfortable and sort of relaxed as possible, because that's also how people perform the best when they are not under too much pressure, I would say, in our program.
That's absolutely correct, I think. And that's something I've noticed in Finland, particularly, that you're not always put under stress when you're put to task.
Yeah.
It's a more relaxed environment, and I think the interviews and the whole application process embodies the same spirit. Even the interviews you said, because I'm not sure if everyone would be aware of the fact that you can ask questions back to the interviewer. That might be new to many people, but that is completely fine and allowed during the interviews.
Yeah, and I guess that's one characteristic of the kind of the Finnish or the academic culture here at Oulu, at least. So we have a kind of a low level of hierarchy between the staff and the students. So we are available for questions and willing to support on a daily basis also.
Yeah, and maybe also one point about the interviews is that it's also for us it's an opportunity to sort of market our university, and because we have a lot of very talented applicants who are applying to many different universities, so it's also a possibility for us to show that we might be the best option for them. And that is maybe something that the applicants don't see this side. Also that it's like we also want the good students to us. It's not just us evaluating them, but also them very much evaluating us. So that's why the communication, I think it's very, very important to have a good interview experience.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And also when you mention about the lack of hierarchy in Finnish institutions, it always brings a smile to my face. It's a good thing to say. And it's good to remind the viewers and interested applicants about it. So that's good. Also, just a few tips for the viewers or interested applicants when they're approaching the interview stage or the interview process. Is there anything that they have to keep in mind? Any key points?
Do you have any ideas?
Well, sort of generic and from earlier years from conducting these, and this applies to any interviews in general, I guess, like don't be late, be on point, do your homework, look at the program you are applying for, think about your own motivation, look at the courses, the curriculum, what interests me, what are my reasons to study here, because that's something that might well be asked, and it's a natural interview question, of course, and maybe, I guess, as Kaisu mentioned, you will have a chance to ask questions of your own, so you think of prepare a couple of questions of your own as well. Be genuine, be confident in yourself. I think doing your homework partially helps in that as well.
Yeah, and also like you mentioned, the first thing you mentioned was about people being don't be late. So people have been late in the past, and I think that's something about the Finnish punctuality, to not be late. That's something that you hold.
And not only Finnish. I just yesterday I read a news piece about someone interviewing for MIT's doctoral program, and said that she had Zoom interviews, and every interviewee that day had been late.
Yeah, I think that's a big letdown in the beginning itself. I think that's a very bad impression to put on. So it's a good thing to keep in mind, not to be late.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I completely agree with all the points, and being in time and being aware of the time difference. Usually when you get the interview invitation, the time of the interview is into local time, in Finnish local time. So make sure you calculate the difference correctly, so you know when to be there. And like Osmo said, do your homework, familiarize with the program, and think about your personal motivations regarding this program. And then during the interview, just try to be yourself, like you said, be genuine. And then maybe something that could help is to try to remember and think about it this way, that the interviewer also wants to see you as a potential new student. So you have a common goal. You're on the same side in a sense. So I think that could be a point to remember.
True. Really good points by both of you on that. I think our viewers will also appreciate a lot of the insights that you shared. But now I want to take a look at this topic from a different viewpoint, right? So when you, with your experience, what have you noticed are the key characteristics when students who are successful in Finland? Any particular traits, habits, or anything that you have noticed in your years? Osmo, would you like to start with that?
Yeah, this might slightly repeat on what Kaisu stated in the beginning about what we are looking for an applicant, but you can find things like you need a certain perseverance, willingness to work hard also, because you will generally be expected to graduate in 2 years, so that requires study effort as well, and this sort of an independence in a way that you will have support available also, but you will also have your academic freedom. That's important in the system here, so you will need to be at least learn how to handle that freedom in order to plan your studies and plan your work accordingly. I think these things, at least first, guys, what's on your mind?
Yeah, definitely those kind of things, and then what I think when I think about international students who then also stay maybe in Finland after the studies, what is characteristics for them in my eyes is sort of willingness and openness to grasp different kind of opportunities like internships, and stuff, and sort of being open and active in that sense, and in our field also building your own networks, professional and personal. So being active socially helps a lot. And then I think that it doesn't hurt to learn a few words of Finnish, although Finnish is a very difficult language, and obviously I wouldn't expect someone to come in for a 2 years master and then master also the Finnish language, although there are those people as well.
Yeah.
But I think this is anywhere you go, it's good to learn something about the local language, so it helps you to connect with the local people. So yeah, those kind of things, and perseverance and that kind of stuff, openness.
Yeah, in your studies you will probably have like survival Finnish or maybe beginners Finnish one or two in your curriculum. That helps. And of course, we are here at the university, the programs, the University Career Center, Talent Boost program, the student guilds will organize a lot of these opportunities for networking and company excursions and job fairs and all these things. So that's, I think, it's important to be actively in part of this this community stuff in order to build your network and understand how where can you find opportunities that are suit you.
Exactly, sort of beyond the just the requirements of the degree, utilize all the support services of the university and build those networks beyond just the coursework.
There's a plethora of resources available in the university for all these opportunities. And also a good thing that you mentioned about the independence when it comes to studies and carrying out your research work or whatever you're doing. That might be very different compared to other countries. For example, in my case, when I came here, it was a lot of freedom and very few lectures, and most of it was self-study, and that independence is quite important to inculcate in yourself when you're coming to Finland. So, yeah, I
would say that, but also that it doesn't mean that the students are alone, because the support system is then sort of compensating that, and we do take into account, especially in these international programs, that when people come from very diverse educational backgrounds and from different kinds of institutions, so there's this settling period when we especially offer the support to get to know the system and that. So it's kind of like it's a process. You don't have to have that quality in you from day one. It develops. But it's good to sort of be aware.
Be aware of the fact. And when you come to University of Oulu, I think everyone sort of supports you throughout the way to become more and more independent over time. But yeah, it is obviously a good thing to do. And we'll touch upon this in the later live streams as well. So that's a good thing. So good points by both of you, really, really great points. And I'm sure along with the viewers, even I have a lot to take away from what you shared today. And now that we come to a conclusion, is there any final remarks or any advice that you would like to give to our viewers, just to keep in mind?
Yeah, well, you're welcome to apply to our university. We have a good, even a great community here at the university, and we can provide you with a quality education. So that, and as we mentioned before, do your homework when applying. That's important.
Remember the deadlines for different attachments. Remember to send out all the attachments, and just good luck on the application process, and welcome to Oulu, and maybe the best university there is. That would be my end note, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Thank you. And also now we'll be taking questions from the live chat. So there are 4 questions, and go ahead.
Okay. First question. I was wondering what makes Oulu different from other Finnish universities.
Okay. Osmo, maybe?
I mean, each Finnish university has their particular flavor. We are located here in North. We have a lot of tech and some process industry companies. Nokia is big here in Oulu, for instance. We have a tradition as a university of really close company collaboration. And well, we have certain fields that we are excellent in and which are our focus areas in the national
For example,
national area.
6G and the research that is going on in the IT faculty, it's very unique to Oulu. In Finland.
Yeah, and for instance, in our particular industrial energy management, we have this sort of national division, which so product management and project management are our national areas of expertise as well. So that shows in the selection we have for programs, for instance.
Yeah, I think, well, Oulu is a tech city for sure, but I would say that one thing that stands out in University of Oulu compared to other Finnish universities, that we have basically all the faculties except for med school under the same roof here in Linnanmaa. So it's a very versatile campus. The international programs, I know that in some universities the international program might be in a sort of a side campus. Here it's in the main campus, and it's truly an international environment. We have, is it something like 14,000 students, out of which I can't remember how many are international and how many nationalities. It's all online, but it's really an international atmosphere. And although we tend to say that we are here, or it might look like that from the outside, that we are very far up north, but we are actually in the middle. So we are in the middle of Finland in a sense that we have very good connections to both Lapland and Helsinki is 1 hour away. So I think it's a perfect place for experiencing the northern lifestyle and the Lapland and that stuff, but still being connected to southern Finland and those places. It's a nice size of a city. Everything is in a convenient.
It was called the 20-minute city.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's a very good student city in that sense. Quite cheap also.
Not big the capital. The cost of living is more affordable.
Yes. Exactly.
Especially the housing is really affordable. I think one of the most affordable in Finland, from the facts I've received. But also the 20-minute city is actually, I just mentioned it quickly, but it means that you can reach any place in Oulu within 20 minutes because it's conveniently placed, all the services that you would need.
Yes. Oulu is also one of the best biking cities in the world.
True. How can we not mention that?
It has been chosen as maybe the biking city of the year.
I think it was called the winter cycling capital of the world or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that people have more time in Oulu because we don't have to commute like 3 hours per day, and I think that makes a big difference to your quality of life.
So, and the campus being in one place, that's a good point mentioned by you, might not be very familiar to other people from other countries. Even for me, it was a new thing. But it brings that inclusiveness, you feel a part of the university community because you're a part of except the medical faculty. Yeah. Everything is in one building, so that's a great thing.
It is.
But that was a great question. That was a good question. Next one.
Second question. What kind of facilities are available for international students?
Are you the best person to answer this? Like,
what kind of facilities?
Living I know the support systems and all those services, but you having the...
True. I can maybe answer a bit about that. When it comes to facilities for international students, of course, housing is provided at the same rate. The subsidized food in the university, everything is provided on almost the same rate as for Finns. But also the career center and the career service, which we will touch upon in later live sessions. It really helps build that network within Finland, because many of us as international students, when we come to Finland, we might not have that already. And that helps us develop it. So a lot of facilities, and even sports and recreational facilities are there, like Unimove and other stuff. So that's about that.
Medical care also.
Oh yeah, medical care. Kela sort of provides the free healthcare. From the University Health Association. What was it called? FSHS. Finnish Student Health Services.
Yes. Kind of a very wide range. I think it covers everything, and we have like study spaces for students, and you can borrow laptops, and there's a really large range. I think you can find it on the applicant website as well for this whole portfolio, but there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Can I edit my application after submitting it? And if so, is there a specific time frame for making modifications?
Of course, you guys will know better.
The deadlines are on the applicant website. You can edit your application while the period is open, and the deadlines are
Yeah.
clearly visible stated on the website.
Just from my memory that after you have sent the application, there was some deadline until which you could make edits or change your documents or something. But those change yearly, so yeah, it's on always check and be precise and put it on your calendar that by this time everything has to be on the system.
Yeah, and even, for instance, if you are going to, there will be some information that you can apply if you're graduating by the end of May, and then you will be considered as a provisional applicant, and you will have to provide, kind of complete your application with the official graduation documents by a certain deadline again, which you follow. So I think you can find the very clear deadlines on the applicant website and the process.
True. Also, the last question, let's just...
Can I use artificial intelligence application support when writing the motivation letter or for the application preparation?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good topical question.
Well, basically, yes, it's not forbidden, but it has to be personal anyway, so it will look plastic to us if you just copy-paste from ChatGPT or something, and you will... I don't think you will get a good score, and at least, of course, we know this exists, so we have taken care to tailor the requirements for the letter such that it's not...
Okay.
But it's about you. So I don't think you can outsource yourself to an AI, but of course you can practice with it, and it's a tool for from Faculty of Technology, future engineers will use AI for all sorts of applications, of course, and they have to understand them. So not being able to use these current tools, it would be silly in my eyes, but know what you're doing with it. I think that's the main point.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. We don't and we can't say no, don't use it, and there's no way to control it. We know that people might use it, but like Osmo said, when the motivation letter is about you yourself, ChatGPT doesn't really know you. Of course, you can give it like, if you want to use it, but use it in a sophisticated manner so that it actually shows you that's what I would say. But this is a sort of it's a very current topic, and also the universities are finding their ways on how these tools are included into our studies. Also at the business school, we are talking about this, and we know the students use it, and we even encourage them to use ChatGPT or other tools to enhance their learning. So.
Yeah, and of course we are actively using and exploring how to use AI in our education.
But
in a better way as well.
Briefly telling, the motivation letter should, of course, you have the freedom to use it, but you definitely won't get the best score if it comes off as very plastic.
Yeah, if your letter starts with as an artificial intelligence agent, you will get a 0.
And it's sort of, like I said, or we discussed about those very general level motivation letters, and I think that is something that you can make with an AI, a very general motivation letter that doesn't score that high, rather than the person.
Yeah, those are bleh, and they get like mediocre scores at best.
So use it, but use it well, I would say, and use it so that it really showcases you and not some general things.
Okay. Any more questions from the chat?
Is there any Finnish classes in the University of Oulu or in Oulu?
Oh, any...
Was it Finnish classes?
Yeah, Finnish classes. Is there any Finnish classes in the University of Oulu?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, of course. There are both. I mean, there are courses in Finnish available, survival Finnish and Finnish for beginners and so on. Available, of course, in programs. Some courses may be in Finnish, but those are not part of the international programs then.
To learning the language, at least in our international master's program, the students have to do 5 credits of language courses as a sort of default. So basically 5 credits of Finnish. Many of them do take more Finnish courses, and then all the courses are in English, so you don't have to learn it to be able to study in Finnish. But
I think even to learn the languages, I think there are courses available even up to B2, C1 level if you want. It's optional,
Yeah.
But if you want, those courses are available in the university, and students at the University of Oulu can apply to them and be a part of the course.
Yeah, of course, there's a certain limit of how much language studies you can include in your
studies.
In your degree, yes,
Yeah.
and that differs by program, but they are available anyhow.
Okay.
Yeah, and I always say to my students that you can take as many optional courses as you want, sort of that don't belong to your degree. But if you're and usually they are these language courses because they want to learn Finnish. So I always encourage that if they have the time and energy beside their other studies, do those language courses.
So like even if it doesn't count to your degree studies itself, you can of course you have the freedom to take them as optional courses.
Exactly.
And do them in your free time maybe.
Yeah, and you
It's a good
still,
thing.
and you even if they are not part of your degree, you still get a study transcript and sort of proof about them, and so it doesn't sort of go to waste in any way. Yeah.
Yeah, and in general, you can take 5 or up to 10 credits, I would guess is the usual. But that depends on the program, of course.
Yeah.
That how many credits, ECTS credits of Finnish studies you can include in your degree.
All right. Any last questions? Okay, that was the last question that we had. And now we come to the end of this session. Thank you to our panelists for being such wonderful guests over here and giving your insight and expertise to the viewers. And to all the viewers, thank you for joining in today. Our next live session is going to be at 1 p.m. Finnish time, and the topic of discussion is going to be about the studying and teaching methods in the University of Oulu, something we have already touched upon. But if you want more insights on it, more in-depth and in-person information about student experiences especially, please do tune in. And so see you then, and have a good day.
Yes, thank you.